Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the best animated shows ever, so far, with MC and Troy.
Hello, I'm Troy.
And I'm MC.
And
This is the best animated shows ever so
really?
far.
There we go. Sorry, I thought I was going to be done.
I'll wait a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's my turn to take it. And both times we'll start talking at the same time. It's fine.
We're super professional. Is basically what it comes down to. Is we're like the most professional. This is the podcast where we watch, discuss, and rank every single animated show ever. Eventually, and today we're talking about episode 3 of SpongeBob SquarePants, which came out on July 31st. I forgot to say that the last episode came out on July 17th, and the first episode came out in May. So
yeah,
the first episode came out, and then there was a month and a half. Actually, more than that, because it came out May 1st. So there's 2.5 months between the first episode and the second episode. Which is really weird. I don't know if maybe the first episode was made as a pilot, and that's why it was... But that's not
Probably.
early enough for it to be a pilot airing. I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe
it's not they made the rest of it in a month and a half, so they must have approved it.
Probably a pilot. It was probably a pilot, and they released it early to see how audience were going to take it, and they were finishing up the other episodes.
Yeah, I guess.
Or,
I wonder if there was a special in May or something, some big event that they had connected it to. Unfortunately, there's no way to find out. It's impossible to tell. I stole that joke from the Weekly Planet. I want to talk to you about the voice actors for this series, which, surprisingly, I have a lot less to say about than I thought I would. So Tom Kenny plays SpongeBob. He's also Gary the Snail and the French narrator, as I talked about before. He's also the mayor in the Powerpuff Girls. He's Heifer in Rocko's Modern Life. He's the dog in Cat Dog. And he's the Ice King in Adventure Time.
Yes.
He just done a lot. Everybody else in the show, I pretty much don't know, which really surprised me. I figured it would be a list of heavy hitters in the voice acting world, and from what I found, I don't think I know the rest of them at all. So Patrick is Bill Fagerback, and he's done stuff, but nothing I recognized. He's done a lot of supporting roles. He was in Transformers and Gargoyles, but I did not as named characters that I recognized. Same with the guy who played Squidward. His name is Roger Bumpus. Ton of credits. I don't recognize a single one of them except for Squidward. Then I found 2 more that actually have video game connections, which I thought were kind of interesting. Clancy Brown plays Mr. Krabs, and he was also Dr. Neo Cortex in Crash Bandicoot, which is, I believe, the main villain in Crash Bandicoot, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I never played the Crash games, but I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then the woman who plays Sandy Cheeks is Carolyn Lawrence, and she is Ashley in Resident Evil 4. The girl you're out to rescue.
Yeah.
Oh, that was kind of cool.
The first story in this episode is Jellyfishing.
This is a wonderful little story where SpongeBob and Patrick are getting all decked out for a day of jellyfishing, and they invite Squidward. He sarcastically tells them that it sounds like the best day ever, but he just can't go. And then he rides his little floaty bicycle away, mocking them, laughing at how funny it was that he told them off. And he inhales a jellyfish, crashes his bike, and ends up in a full body cast. So since he's incapacitated, SpongeBob and Patrick decide to give him the best day ever, which I think they're trying to do sincerely. But basically, it's just 15 minutes of them torturing the guy.
Yeah. So when he first crashes his bike, he's not in a full body cast then. He's in, bandages just.
Well, but he's,
in a
strapped to a wheelchair.
Yeah. He's, fully bandaged up. He's mummied. He's mummied up, and he's in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. But, the full cast comes later. Later. He's in a full body cast.
I guess that's true. He gets even more casted later on.
Yeah. So, like you said, it starts off, It starts off with jellyfish buzzing around in a field, and it's SpongeBob and Patrick are trying to catch him poorly. They get zapped.
Yeah. This is another one of those things where it's like there's like a childlike wonder to Patrick and SpongeBob on this journey. They get all decked out. It's like almost like a Batman animated series montage
it's
of
very Batman-esque.
Yeah, getting all their gear and suiting up, and SpongeBob puts on his nerd glasses, and then they're just kind of like giggling and running around and trying to catch jellyfish and being real bad at it. And Squidward, as is his usual behavior, is just a jerk to them, like a total jerk.
Very sarcastic in his responses.
They don't understand that he's being sarcastic, which is kind of sad.
It's really weird.
Because he's saying that it would be the best day ever, and they're like, "Aw, it's so sad that he can't come with us and have his best day ever." And it's like, "Oh, you poor fools."
Yeah, and then this is where Squidward rides off on his paddle bike. I guess
paddle bike. That works.
He rides off along the road, and he's laughing at himself about how stupid Jellyfishing and the SpongeBob and Patrick are, and he's really cracking himself up, and he's laughing so hard he doesn't see that he's on a collision course with jellyfish coming towards him, who I'm guessing is the same jellyfish who came past their houses earlier.
I think it's always the same jellyfish is my impression.
Yeah, and as it comes back towards wherever the jellyfish congregate, it flies into Squidward's mouth, and he spits it back out, and he causes a fight with it, which is why he ends up riding off a cliff.
Yeah, kind of like flapping around, trying to fight the thing off, and rides off a cliff on his floating bicycle. He rides off a cliff.
Yeah.
On the bicycle that floats.
Yeah, it's really weird.
So then he comes home, and Patrick and SpongeBob are so excited that he's coming home. He's all bandaged up, and they're like, "Oh man, we're gonna give you the best day ever."
This is actually one of my favorite scenes. With the soup.
The soup is good. The soup is good. I will give you that. So go ahead, take it.
So Patrick is trying to feed Squidward soup, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a bit warm." So he blows on it.
Reminder, Squidward, who is entirely casted up, including his face. He is like, all that you can see of him is his eyes. This is the guy that Patrick decides needs soup.
Yeah, and he blows so hard on the soup. The soup just sprays off of the spoon and into Squidward's face, just covering him in soup. But he doesn't do it once. He does it like several times, and it's hilarious because you just see Squidward get more and more annoyed at this soup getting sprayed into his face that he's not actually eating.
And he can't do anything about it. He can't even, you just hear,
yeah.
So SpongeBob, see, I'll take the next one here. SpongeBob says, "Hey, maybe soup's not the best idea. You know what's really going to help is music for you, Squidward, played on your very own clarinet." And he grabs Squidward's clarinet and blows on it and goes, "Oh, my lips are a little dry." And then he licks his lip for 18 years. He licks his lips and slobbers all over them, and it's just vile and disgusting and awful. And he's about to blow on the clarinet when thankfully Patrick saves the clarinet and says, "Hang on, it's not music we need. It's jellyfishing." Oh gosh, his lips. MC, his lips. His horrifying lips.
That
I
whole
hated
scene,
it so much.
It's really disgusting.
It's too much.
After the really funny scene of the soup, it was just like, ah.
It felt like it was trying to make the same joke of like, let's do this thing and have it go on way too long. But the soup thing was funny to me, whereas the lips thing, I was just like, oh, stop lipping your... Oh, no, stop it.
Especially someone who was, like when you're in band, and you're like, no, that's not what you need. No, it's too
much. So then they take him out to go jellyfishing.
there's another scene here with Patrick, just before they go out, and Patrick's like, "Here, grip onto the net," and he
Firmly grasp it in your hand.
Yeah, and he's all bandaged up, and there's like this lump where you see like his hand should be, and Patrick hands it to him, and it just falls because he can't grab it, and so
I'm sorry.
Patrick picks it back up, does it again,
And goes,
says
firmly grasp
firmly
it.
grasp it, and then drops it again. He does it a third time, and he gets even more angry. He's like, firmly grasp it! And then hands it to him, and it falls again. And this is when Patrick gets frustrated, picks it up, and jams it through the bandages, and essentially through Squidward's hand at this point. And you hear a muffled scream from Squidward, and Patrick is just like, there we go.
Firmly grasp it got me, and I knew it was coming. Actually, the Polygon Show is another podcast I listened to that just recently did an episode about SpongeBob, and this was one of the jokes they talked about was the firmly grasp it. So I knew this was coming, and it's still like it killed me. I don't know why, but it was so. I do know why. It's because of what we were saying before, that Patrick will always be Patrick. Like, this is his character. He's really dumb, and he knows that you're supposed to firmly grasp it, and so. Firmly grasp it, damn it. Like, just firmly grasp it. And it's perfect. It is like Patrick is so charming in these things. And that's where, like I said, SpongeBob doesn't necessarily do it for me all the time when seems to not get things. Patrick always works for me. Like, it's never annoying, it's always funny.
Yeah. And this just leads them to going to the jellyfish fields, and Squidward's not about it at all.
Yep.
And he tries to drive away. He's just like, nope. And he tries to nope out. And SpongeBob's like, no, not that way, silly. This way. And he pulls him back. And that's pretty much where the scene starts of the jellyfishing. And once again, they are terrible at it.
Yep. Patrick and SpongeBob cannot catch a jellyfish to save their life.
In fact,
a lot of zapping happens.
In fact, the jellyfish that they try to catch doesn't just zap SpongeBob and Patrick, who tried to catch it. It zaps Squidward, who was sitting there doing nothing as well. It zaps all three of them.
Yep. And after getting zapped, I think that's when Squidward starts going after them.
He gets annoyed, so he goes after the thing. And he does actually catch it. He catches it.
Yep.
But in doing so,
there's a big jellyfish.
Yeah.
he catches a little baby jellyfish against a big jellyfish.
Yeah, and he's so annoyed and aggressive about it. He like smacks
he
the net.
He smacks it around with the net. That's so cruel. Like, you already caught the thing.
Not just in the net, but up against the larger jellyfish, which this giant jellyfish gets annoyed at that and at Squidward for doing it. And when it rises up, there's horror in Squidward's eyes at this point.
Yeah. And then
he
gets destroyed.
oh, here's the best bit. As this giant jellyfish comes up to attack Squidward, Squidward rolls away as fast as he possibly can. He's trying to run away from this thing. And what are Patrick and SpongeBob doing at this point? Do you remember?
They're just watching him, aren't they?
No, they're cheering him on, trying to tell him to catch this giant jellyfish.
That's right.
It's the complete opposite of what Squidward wants to do, or what anyone else with like common sense would be doing. It'd be like, oh, we all should be running. Let us help you, the person in the wheelchair who can't run away, get away faster. No, let's just sit back and cheer for you.
Yeah. So he gets all beaten up by the big jellyfish, and it cuts to the next day.
No. It doesn't even show that. It stays on like SpongeBob and Patrick, and you hear zap, and then you see like the thunder or the lightning on the side of the screen. It doesn't actually show what happens to Squidward at all.
Right. Not until the next day we see.
Yeah. Which now he's no longer in a wheelchair.
He's
Nope.
like on a
He's-
hospital bed with a motor on it.
Yeah, he's on a gurney, and
Yeah.
it has an IV attached to it, and he's in a full body cast now. Like, it's actually a cast. It's not just bandages.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they hurt him even more, and they're like, oh, and like, Patrick and SpongeBob didn't get this unscathed. They're covered in band-aids at this point as well. Like,
Yep.
it's like, oh yeah, they got zapped a lot. And then what they have to show for it is what they give to Squidward near the end of the episode.
Yeah, they caught the jellyfish.
Yeah, they caught a jellyfish, a small jellyfish, and they put it in a jar, and they give it to Squidward. So what does Squidward do?
He lets it out, yeah?
Yeah, he releases it at them. Not just, he doesn't just release the jellyfish, he's like, attack.
Yeah, sick of him. Which goes perfectly well for him and nothing bad happens. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. For some strange reason, the releasing of the small jellyfish attracts the giant jellyfish again, and it zaps Squidward one more time, which releases him from his cast and everything, and he seems to be okay.
Yeah, he's less injured under there than I would have expected, but
Yeah.
he gets real punished. Potentially unfairly, because while Squidward was a jerk in this episode, Patrick and SpongeBob were also kind of jerks. Because
Oh, yeah. The difference is that Patrick and SpongeBob weren't malicious about them being
Yes.
jerks. They were jerks, like, unintentionally, whereas Squidward was very intentionally a jerk.
That's true.
But
That's true.
it doesn't excuse them for being jerks and, like, doing what they've done.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, that Squidward is maliciously mean, and they are just ignorantly mean.
I think the moral behind this is you might want to pay a bit more attention to your surroundings.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, because if Squidward had paid attention, he would have been fine.
Yeah, through all of it, like, you think about it, well, except for the last zapping. The last zapping sort of, like, it's from him releasing the smaller jellyfish. I don't think it's actually...
Yeah. That one's not directly related to the
Yeah.
idea of pay attention to your
But-
surroundings, but...
Yeah, but the other ones, it's all about his surroundings. Like, if he was paying attention on his bike, he wouldn't have accidentally almost ate that jellyfish. And then if he was paying attention when he was catching jellyfish, he would have noticed that the big purple-pink rock wasn't actually a purple-pink see-through rock. It was actually a giant jellyfish.
Yeah, that's true. Good call. Yeah, I like that. I think you're right. Cool. Let's talk Plankton.
Oh, okay.
In Plankton, Mr. Krabs' nemesis, Plankton, tries to steal a Krabby Patty formula by first bribing, or I guess coercing, and then later mind controlling SpongeBob.
No, first he tries to steal it.
Oh, that's true. First it's just straight up theft, then coercion, then mind control.
Yes.
I remember the character of Plankton. I remembered him from watching this show before.
Yeah, he runs the unsuccessful competitor to the Krusty Krab, the Chum Bucket.
Yep. It's a bucket.
Yep.
The whole restaurant looks like a bucket.
Yep. That's it.
Apparently there's a secret formula involved with the creation of Krabby Patties, and that's what Plankton's actually out to get.
Yeah.
It doesn't explain this at the beginning, exactly how he's going to get it, because he's just trying to steal a burger. Later on, we find out that he's got a machine that will actually, like,
analyze.
Analyze it down to its component parts. But at the beginning, it's like, dude just wants a burger, man. Like, you just will not sell this guy a burger? Come on. So then...
So I like how the episode opens. It's like SpongeBob is putting all the burger parts into really odd and disturbing places, and he does some magic trick and he pulls a full burger out of Squidward's nose. And
Yep.
that's
Apparently,
the burger.
SpongeBob can assemble burgers inside of his body.
And then magically pull them out of someone else's nose. And this is the burger that Plankton first tries to steal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of a sudden, it just starts moving around the room on its own. And Squidward's like, stop that. And SpongeBob's like, I'm not doing that.
It's a ghost.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's the line, but I don't think it is actually. But
No,
it's like
that's Scooby-Doo.
It starts making a break for the door, and that's when Mr. Krabs stops it and reveals that it's Plankton.
Mr. Krabs' college-educated nemesis. He makes a point of pointing out that he's college-educated. I think 3 times in the episode he mentions it.
I think it might be 3 or 4 times, yeah.
So after being foiled in his theft attempt, Plankton finds SpongeBob after the Krusty Krab closes and tries to convince SpongeBob that they're friends, or at least acquaintances, and that they should give each other gifts, and that all he wants for his birthday tomorrow is a Krabby Patty.
Yep. And SpongeBob realizes real quick that it might not actually even be his birthday, and that all he really wants is a Krabby Patty. And he calls Plankton on it. SpongeBob's like, I'm going to call you on your bullshit. You just want a patty. It's not even your birthday, is it? And he's like, oh, well, you're smart, aren't you? That's Plankton to SpongeBob. So,
there's a good joke in here I like, where Plankton says something about, like, guess what I want for my birthday? And SpongeBob goes, a booster seat? And Plankton gets so excited. For a He's like, oh, a booster seat? Oh, wait, no, I want a Krabby Patty. But I was like, oh, he's so small. He just wants a booster seat.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it does happen.
He's real excited about it. So let's see. Then he's like, oh, SpongeBob, you're going to hand deliver it to me personally. And his plan for that is he literally crawls inside SpongeBob's head.
Oh, so there's actually, at the end of the scene of with Plankton like insulting SpongeBob and SpongeBob walking off, it's the first time you see the gramophone.
Oh, and, right.
Yeah,
the ominous music gramophone.
Yeah. He pulls an ominous like a gramophone out. He plays ominous music, and then he starts doing a maniacal laugh. It's great, but that's not the best use of that. The next time he pulls it out is the best use of it because of what happens.
I don't remember what happens.
So, in the next scene, it's SpongeBob is sleeping in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And Plankton shows up, and he's doing his evil monologue thing again, but to no one. And then he pulls the gramophone out, and he starts to do his evil laugh, but it plays the wrong music. It plays, like, happy music. I can't remember what it was.
I missed this entirely.
And then he takes the record off, turns it over, and then plays the ominous music and starts laughing again.
Huh! I missed that entirely. That's cool.
And it doesn't wake SpongeBob up at all.
That's really funny. I'm looking to see if I can find it in the wiki for it lists all of the music that are used in each episode, which are huge lists. Let's see. Dramatic music again. Oh, wrong side of record. The Alphabet Song by Peter Gosling is what plays, apparently.
Yeah, so that plays, and then Plankton sort of sneaks into SpongeBob's head.
And
like
puts
just
a
through
total
one of his
control machine
holes.
in his brain.
But, so during this scene, when Plankton's in SpongeBob's head, SpongeBob rolls over in his sleep. And when he rolls over so when he rolls over, his brain starts rolling around in his head. I'm like, that's not safe. And then,
It's so dumb. It's so dumb, and I laughed at it, and I hated myself for laughing at it.
do you remember what Plankton does so the brain doesn't move?
He pulls out packing tape and tapes it to the ground. So dumb.
It's so dumb, but yeah, he just takes it down to the ground so he can insert his brain control machine.
Mm-hmm. So SpongeBob wakes up the next day and is moving.
No.
Like,
It's like the middle of the night still.
does he get up in the middle of the night? I thought it was the next morning.
No, because Plankton's put the mind control thing in his brain.
Oh yeah.
And he starts moving him around. So SpongeBob wakes up and thinks, "Oh, it must be tomorrow," but it's still the middle of the night.
Gotcha. And Plankton's walking him like a robot, kind of like Spock's brain from the original Star Trek, and also that episode with Iggy Pop of Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. Oh.
Yes.
So he's controlling him from the inside, and SpongeBob's like, oh god, what's happening? He walks through the wall of his house. He walks through
into the fridge.
He walks through his pants.
Yeah. And then he walks through the outer wall.
Uh-huh. Did you catch the joke with the fridge?
There's
That's a great joke. He goes when he's talking about how it must be the morning, he goes, time for a balanced breakfast. And he walks through the fridge, and then a bunch of breakfast foods are balanced on his head. And he goes, that's not what I had in mind.
See,
because it's balanced on his head.
I missed that.
I watched this episode twice, and I caught that the second time. Like, I didn't get that joke the first time, and then the second time I was like, oh, it's balanced.
See,
okay.
I kept pausing it so I could write my notes.
Mm-hmm.
I just probably paused it right at that bit,
like in between the two lines.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, he just walks through the house, and then Plankton, he's walking him outside, and SpongeBob's calling out for help because he's like, someone must. I can't control my body, so something must be wrong. Help! He's calling for help, and Squidward's trying to sleep.
Yeah, I believe tells him to shut up or something.
Yeah, he's like, shut up, I'm trying to sleep, and then rolls back over, and then a couple of seconds later, SpongeBob walks through his house.
Yep, just straight through the house.
Yeah, and not through one wall, but both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it's like, as he gets to the other side of Squidward's house, Plankton turns around and talking through SpongeBob's mouth.
This is when he does that.
Yeah.
He goes, you're a mediocre clarinet player.
Yeah.
Aww, and Squidward's so sad.
Yeah, he's like, mediocre?
He's like, oh.
And SpongeBob's like, I didn't say that. Like, yeah. So SpongeBob is like confused, and he's like, someone must be controlling me, be in my head, or something's wrong with my brain. And he rolls his eyes backwards into his head so he can see Plankton in his head controlling his brain.
That's upsetting.
And at this point, SpongeBob accuses Plankton of being a bad friend.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time we've seen Plankton, and he's not really acted friendly.
Plankton tried to convince him that they were friends earlier.
Yeah.
And SpongeBob is an innocent soul, so he believed it, at least a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, and then Plankton's like, we're not friends, you didn't even turn up for my birthday.
And then they go to Krusty Krab, right? I think from there, they go to the Krusty Krab and get the burger. And then go to Plankton's lab.
Yeah, SpongeBob tells Plankton to get out of his head. And this is the third time we see the gramophone and the evil laugh, and he says never.
Yeah.
And he walks him through Patrick's house as well. Through the rock.
It's just dumb. It's dumb, but it's funny.
Yeah.
They do that. So they must do that 6 times. They do the joke of him walking through a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they end up at the Krusty Krab.
Yeah.
Oh,
They steal...
actually, I think they walk him through a wall there as well, and then out again.
Oh yeah. So they just keep busting on walls.
But they don't do
it.
it at the they don't do it at the chum bucket. At the chum bucket, they walk through doors.
Well, of course, because
So-
Plankton doesn't want to bust up his own place.
So it's obvious that he can like walk through doors. It's just he's choosing to walk SpongeBob through these walls on purpose.
Yep. Does it all intentionally.
And they take the Krabby Patty and they walk into the chum bucket, and there's a lab joke.
There's
He's
a
like-
lab joke?
Yeah, he's like, here's my lab, and they show a picture of a Labrador, like an actual picture of a Labrador.
And here's my laboratory.
Yeah.
I heard that line, but I was looking away from the screen when it happened, so I missed what the joke was. But I remember hearing him say, here's my lab and here's my laboratory, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what is that?
And then he does the record player again. I think this is the last time that happens.
Yep.
It's more evil laughter.
And he starts gloating about his plan as he tries to make SpongeBob drop the Krabby Patty.
Oh, and
he gets a villain's
SpongeBob-
comeuppance.
SpongeBob's like, must fight, and then he like, as he's holding it over this analyzer that Plankton somehow built. Oh, the stupidest joke here is when they test the analyzer and it's seaweed.
50% sea, 50% weed.
Yep.
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 And he's just holding it over it, and he's like got a couple of fingers down, and SpongeBob's only holding it by his pointer and thumb at one point, and SpongeBob is describing how delicious and moist and everything this Krabby Patty is, which gets Plankton food horny, as I've described it here.
You know what's weird? This is
Yeah.
the second time I've heard someone talk about being horny for food today, because earlier I was listening to a podcast called Yerks at Work, which is an Animorphs podcast that was talking about how when the Animorphs morph into seagulls, they get horny for food. Like, they're not hungry, they just horny for it. So, yeah, food horny has come up twice for me today. That's a weird phrase to come up 2 times.
I mean...
That's what it is,
He's
lusting for that burger.
Yeah, he literally lusts for this burger, and in his excitement, he jumps out of SpongeBob's head towards the burger, and as you said earlier, he gets his villain's comeuppance.
Not upcomings. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That felt like it should be a joke. Was that a joke? Is that anything?
My brain had a hiccup.
Hiccup. An hiccup.
Yeah. And he falls into the analyzer instead of the burger. Do you remember the joke here?
It says something about what his makeup is, but I don't have it in front of me.
1% evil, 99% hot air.
No college education listed in his makeup.
Nope. And then you see Plankton pop up in the screen after being analyzed. He's like massive now, and SpongeBob just calmly walks out. And as he's walking out, Plankton's yelling at him about how that's his burger.
Yeah. He really wants
But
that
he
burger.
didn't pay for it.
That's
He
true.
stole it.
That's true.
And not only that, not only did he steal it, he forced SpongeBob to steal it.
Yeah, so he didn't even steal it himself.
He's just a bad person.
I don't think he has any right to that burger.
No, it's not his burger. If it's anyone's burger, it's SpongeBob's burger.
That's right. SpongeBob rightfully stole it under the control of Plankton.
I mean, he probably also gets an amount of free Krabby Patties, I'm guessing.
That's probably true. What would you have on your Krabby Patty?
How they make a Krabby Patty is
Oh,
the
okay.
perfect Krabby Patty for me.
Oh,
Because
okay.
probably the only thing that I might add is onions.
Yep. You gotta have onions.
I know it sounds weird, but beetroot, beets, like
I don't think I've ever had beets on a burger.
yeah, you know how you get the ones that are like sliced in a tin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like one of those. It's an Australian thing.
I might have to try that sometime.
Also, here in Australia, we like to put eggs on burgers.
I love an egg on a burger. That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say I would add to it. Put a fried
But-
egg on there.
But yeah, like just a normal Krabby Patty. That's a pretty decent burger, especially with the 3 pickles.
I just had a startling thought.
What?
What kind of meat is on a Krabby Patty?
They don't actually reveal it because that's the secret ingredient. Like the patty, the actual patty, is the secret ingredient that Plankton wants. And at one point, there's like this when he steals like the secret recipe
Mhm.
from Mr. Krabs, who has it in like a bottle, and it's a note wrapped up in a bottle, and Plankton gets it out, and he reads it all off, and it's like 99 Plankton, but then Mr. Krabs reveals at the end of that episode that that's not actually the recipe.
Oh.
So we're unsure what it's actually made out of.
Huh.
They don't
That never
ever
occurred to me
reveal that.
before. Could it be made out of manatees, aka sea cows?
Maybe.
What's the moral of this episode? Is there one? I don't think there is one, really.
Yeah. Evil doesn't win.
But is Plankton
Incompetent.
evil? I mean,
Yeah.
he does an evil thing.
1%. 1% evil.
Okay, he's
99%
probably about
hot air.
1% evil. That sounds about right.
But the other 99% is hot air, so he is technically a lot of evil.
Yeah, I guess that's true. He just wants a burger, man.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't
No.
just want a burger. He wants to steal a burger but still.
Yeah.
and a booster seat.
Well, he does want a booster seat. I'm trying to think of what the moral of this story would be, other than, I mean, you can't control other people.
Can't control the people. Don't exploit your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's really vague, but I'm guessing this one was more like a introduction of Plankton and like a whole joke episode. But it was fun.
They really want to set Plankton up as an actual evil character. It seems like whereas Mr. Krabs and Squidward can both be jerks, Plankton is actually evil.
Yeah. He's a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, he's truly a villain as opposed to being a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I got on this one.
Yeah, same. But they were fun episodes.
They were. They were both fun. So we're in now to talking about the show as a whole.
Yeah.
I laughed quite a bit at SpongeBob at these 3 episodes. There were a lot of places that I laughed. There were also a lot of places that I cringed. The toxic masculinity stuff was uncomfortable, but I think it's good that it's in there.
I mean, it was also in Biker Mice from Mars. Like,
yes, and it felt more intentional in this than in Biker Mice from Mars. Biker Mice from Mars, it felt like it was there because it's normal, whereas in this, it felt like it was there kind of to point out that that's not cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they succeeded in pointing out that it wasn't cool, but I think they were at least trying to. Whereas Biker Mice from Mars thought it was cool to be toxically masculine, which is worse.
So this is going to be really weird, but I'm going to give this probably a 7 out of 10 for like a rating, but I reckon like SpongeBob is our number 2 spot at the moment. Like, I do think
Yeah.
it was better than Biker Mice from Mars. But My Hero Academia, oh my god, that show is so good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think
It's gonna be
not
tough to beat.
at this point, yeah. Like, when we start getting into like in more stuff, like there's gonna be Simpsons
That's
and
true.
like South Park. Like, those shows have been on for so long because of a reason. Like we're gonna see like the early stuff that we've forgotten about in that stuff,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be competition for it later. But right now, yeah, I don't see anything really competing with My Hero Academia. Even though those episodes probably won't come out for a while, or if we want to, we'll probably re-record them.
No, I was actually going to suggest. I think we put them out after the SpongeBob set.
Oh,
We'll
you
have-
reckon?
We'll have 6 episodes out at that point. I think we put those ones out. That gives us a little bit of breathing room, and we can get way ahead on recordings that way.
Yeah.
Because like the next 3 weeks basically, I'm not going to be able to record because of
Yeah.
holidays and stuff like that. So then I figure sometime in January we can meet up again. And so yeah, I think our release schedule, we can do Biker Mice from Mars, SpongeBob, and then My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Don't judge us on those My Hero Academia episodes. They were our first that we recorded.
Yep.
We were still working out our structure and how everything was going to work, and there's a bit of like nervousness and getting going, but I reckon by episode 3 we understand sort of what's going on, and we do a lot better.
That's true. Let's see. So, next time you tune in, you'll probably be hearing My Hero Academia. Unless I change my mind, in which case we'll edit this. But I still think we should figure out what we're going to do after that.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, and you still have to rate SpongeBob, like, out of 10.
No, I agree. I don't do out of 10 ratings. All I'm doing for rating is we're putting it on a big list.
Yeah?
Yeah, I struggle with an out of 10 rating. The reason being that I don't like out of 10 ratings. I like reading other people's out of 10 ratings. I don't like trying to give them myself because I can't actually conceptualize like what the difference between a 6 and an 8 is, or like, like I can give it an out of 4 rating. Out of 4, I would give this 3. Like, okay. I can do that where it's like, because even out of 5, it's like on a scale of 1 to 5, 3 is just fine, and I don't like that. So I like out of 4. If I was gonna do out of 4, I would say this is a 3. It's good. It's not great, but it's not bad, nor is it terrible. Like I can conceptualize a 4-point scale. 10-point scales hurt my brain.
I prefer a 10, or like out of 100, like a percentage.
See, I can't be that accurate. I don't know.
yeah. No, I can be sort of like, this is better than that sort of thing. Like, I can like, yeah. I'm giving this like a definite 7 because it's all right, but it wasn't great. Like, yeah, it's better than mediocre.
It is, absolutely. It is absolutely SpongeBob SquarePants, better than mediocre. They're going to put that on the next DVD release. SpongeBob SquarePants, better than mediocre. Base FS cat.
Okay. So we're going to try and get our next one?
Yeah, let's pick some shows. Where is that? Is that in the brainstorming? Yes, shows to cover. So last time we had X-Men, Mighty Ducks, and Samurai Jack on the list, so they can't be on for this week.
Okay. I know the 2 that I would like.
You're already there. All right, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, Hunter x Hunter, which is another Japanese anime that's very good. I reckon it's gonna get better. Like for the first 3 episodes, we're gonna rank it fairly low, but if we come back and revisit it, it'll go up in rankings as we come back and revisit them, sort of thing. So that show's gonna be a long run sort of show that we'll have to like come back to a couple of times before it gets its spot permanently in the list, sort of thing. But I reckon if we get the first 3 out of the way, it's going to be really fun later on.
I'm going to put Dragon Ball on as my first episode. I think for shows that have kind of a series of shows within them, we should cover them in order. So if the
original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, and if we're going to do Batman and then Batman Beyond, we're going to do Batman first before we do Batman Beyond. Yeah. So I'm going to put Dragon Ball on there as my first pick for this week. What's your second one?
Gargoyles. I still want to get to it.
I am very in favor of getting to Gargoyles. Let's see. What do I want to put on there as a fourth?
Oh, that's what I actually discovered where my dice were, so I'm gonna go grab my die.
Okay, go for it. Let's see. We've got 3 good action shows on there. I kind of feel like the fourth should also be a solid action show. And with that in mind, gosh, what do I want to do? You know what I want to do? I heard I was popped into someone's Twitch stream the other day. Emerald Fishy, I think is who they were on Twitch, but they were discussing Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, which sounds completely batshit and off the wall, and I want to watch it. So I'm going to put the original Yu-Gi-Oh! On the list, so hopefully we can eventually work towards watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D.
That sounds good.
I have never watched a single episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! All right, MC's got a D4. He's going to roll it.
That's 2.
That's a 2. We're watching Dragon Ball. Heck yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I haven't watched original Dragon Ball in a long time.
I haven't watched it. Since we watched it.
Yeah, that was way back. I have the DVDs.
2013 would have been the last time. Yeah.
I bought the entire show when I worked at GameStop because some guy traded it in, and I was like, "This is all mine now."
So what we did is we sat down and we watched all of Dragon Ball, and then we watched, I think, up until the Frieza arc of Dragon Ball Z.
I was gonna say either Frieza or right to the start of Cell, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we watched right up until Cell popped up. Yeah, we did do that.
All right. So, the next series that we're going to watch, it may not be the next series you hear because we might put in My Hero Academia, but the next series we're going to watch is going to be Dragon Ball. So tune in next time for Dragon Ball Season 1, or I guess it's Saga 1. It's going to be weird when we get into anime because they don't necessarily do things in the season structure we're used to. So it's the Emperor Pilaf Saga, Episode 1, Bulma and Son Goku, or The Secret of the Dragon Balls. Hey, this is fun. Every episode has 2 different names because there's a translated title and a dub title.
Yep.
Perfect. Fantastic.
Probably be watching the dub because Dragon Ball is one of the few shows that I can actually watch dubbed because, I started watching it when I was a kid on a kid's show.
Yeah.
It would air and I would watch it, and then when I went into high school and I started earlier, I just used to record it on blank VHSs and then come home and watch it at night.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is where I started with this series, and I was watching dubs, so it's not right for me to watch sub of this one. So
no,
I'm excited. That should be fun. I'm excited to see those. That potentially could be competition for My Hero Academia. Potentially.
Ooh,
we'll see.
Potentially, yeah.
I think it's got a better chance than anything we've watched so far.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm already ranking it number 1 or number 2. But we'll see. I know it's got some problems because, for example, episode 2 is called "What the No Balls," which is in reference to the fact that Bulma doesn't have balls.
Yeah, I remember this because it popped up everywhere, and they're little kids, and they're sleeping, and he lifts up her skirt and pats her on the genitals. Yeah.
But he's like 6 and has been raised like completely by himself. He's never met a girl. It's still a little weird. Anyway, we'll be back next time with something, either My Hero Academia or Dragon Ball. And yeah. Tune in next time. Is that our exit? Have we used that? Do we have an exit? An outro?
I don't know. I'm not sure if we've used one, but tune in next time sounds like a good way.
Oh, no, you know what it is? We normally just end the show when one of us says something awkward. So one of us says something awkward, and then the other one says, thanks for listening. Usually, you say something awkward, and then I say, thanks for listening. Tune in next time. So I'll just repeat again, just to remind you, the second episode of Dragon Ball is called What the No Balls, in reference to Bulma's genitals.
This has been a presentation
of the We Can Make This Work
Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
At Probably Work
For more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.